Hi everyone. This is really a cool assignment, and the students in the past have really enjoyed this and learned a great deal through the assignment, and we can learn quite a bit from each other as well. So the social justice interview, the whole purpose is to engage with someone and learn about their lived experience. So we're really going to dive into those social injustices, looking at health disparities, groups that may be marginalized, all of those factors. So when you're choosing your subject for the interview, make sure that you focus on a population that maybe you serve or an area of focus, so that you can really learn more about them as a person and those experiences that they've had throughout their lifetime. So through this interview, what you're going to do is you're going to focus on gaining insight into maybe unique needs, barriers that are experienced. You're going to look at the concept of cultural humility. You're going to look at health literacy issues, really gaining a very broad perspective as far as learning from your interviewee. So because we're going to be working with someone who may be vulnerable, you don't want to identify this person in your interview and in your paper. What you want to do is call them interviewee, and that's all, and that's to protect their privacy. So I want to make that very clear up front. You're not going to cite, as APA indicates, when you're doing personal communication. You're going to call that person interviewee rather than indicating their name. So I just want to make that very clear up front. So starting with the nuts and bolts, you're going to identify a population within your practice or area of interest that experiencing inequities, health disparities, social injustices. They may be marginalized. So you're going to identify an individual within a particular group. And what you're going to do is dive into the literature and look about that particular population. You're going to use at least 4 references from scholarly peer-reviewed journals, and then you're also going to devise 4 interview questions. I want you to be very deliberate about the questions that you devise and be very cautious, practicing cultural humility, how you word your questions to make sure that you're in a very safe environment and not leading answers. So make sure that you really construct your questions very well. The other thing you're going to do is arrange for an interview that needs to occur in an area where your interviewee feels safe. And that's such a key component. You don't want to bring them to an area that you have power. Make sure that it's in an area that they actually have that feeling of safety, and that will help you to engage as far as getting those really open answers to your questions. You need to be sure that you obtain permission and disclose the purpose of the assignment to your interviewee, and you need to indicate that in your paper. This is a key factor in the paper as well. You must get permission, tell them why you're doing it, and again, you don't want to identify the person in any way. You want to say that you're doing your interviewee in the citation, interviewee, personal communication, and the date. So there's some examples here. So what you're going to do is compare and contrast the lived experience, what you learn from this individual, with what you're seeing in the literature. So you're going to then reflect on the experiences and what you learned from doing the interview, maybe that you didn't expect to learn possibly. So this is not an extensive assignment, but the key is to really engage with your interviewee and gain from their lived experiences to really elevate your practice Also engage in cultural humility. Look at some of those factors that we study about, but really dive into what it is to live those experiences. So you're going to start out with your introduction of your paper. You're going to make sure that you go through each of the components that I outlined, and you're going to indicate your 4 questions and really dive into that lived experience as far as the content. And then go into a reflection, and just know that reflection maybe you may use first person when you're doing your reflections. Share any thoughts that are aha moments that you may have had. Think about the factors that are specific to your area of practice that actually entail social injustices, those experiences that you learned about when you did your interviewee. What did you learn about the assignment? How is that going to change your practice? Those types of things. And then come to a clear conclusion. And of course, your paper needs to be in APA format. And you will upload this in the assignment link once you're completed. And you will also upload it in the discussion board, because it will be the topic of your discussion board. If you have any questions or concerns about moving forward with your social justice interview, just let me know. Thank you so much, and I look forward to reading the results of your interview.